All right, everybody, how's it going? It's me and Jason. End of the year DG podcast, episode
Yep.
133, I think,
Yep, 133.
which is a good round number to end the year off with. Oh man, I gotta adjust the volume on this game. It's the end of the year, and we're going to do the format slightly differently. Me and Jason are going to sit here and just chat and talk about the year, talk about our favorite things and our worst things. I'm going to try and steer this podcast in an interesting direction. Chance might try and crap out an email, but it's not necessary. He can push out an email, and we'll talk about his favorite stuff after.
Yeah, next year.
Well, I didn't feel like going to him and trying to rush him into getting something out. So, what can you do? First
Right.
of all, how has the last few days been going? Because we say week, but then again, we have like 3-4 days in between podcasts.
Right. Well, actually, kind of crappy.
Oh, sweet. Something
Yeah,
to talk about. Well, not sweet for your crappy, but sweet for something to talk about.
Yeah, so anyway, Sunday night, I get a notification on my phone from the Amazon app that I have on my phone that says my package has been shipped. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I haven't ordered anything from Amazon.
Oh.
And
this
so-
might be going in an interesting direction.
Yeah.
Hopefully
So I get
this
on.
is my package because I stole your info. Anyway.
Yeah. So I get on Amazon, and there's no package as far as I can tell. But like I said, the notification said there was a package. So I did some hunting, and I looked at the app again, and it said that I had ordered on the day after Christmas, on the 26th. So on the 27th, I get this notification. The 26th, they said I ordered this thing. It was a Microsoft Surface 4 for
Wow.
$2,000.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You making major purchases in your sleep there, buddy?
Yeah, exactly. So I do a search, and lo and behold, if you go into your orders and you type in the name of the item that you're searching for, it would come up. And it was saying that but the thing is that the order itself had been archived.
Like somebody tried to hide it?
Yeah, like they tried to hide the thing.
Huh.
So anyway,
Crap beat out of me.
what I ended up doing was, yeah, you're gonna need some. You got a guy coming up behind you too.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm currently
So
fighting him because of delay and stuff.
So anyway, I ended up looking for this item, and I eventually found it. And then I call up Amazon. I'm like, oh, I didn't order this. Where did this come from? And they're like, well, all you have to do is refuse shipping. When it gets there, it'll come back to us.
Well, what if it's not arriving to you? Did it give an address?
It did give an address.
And it's
And
your
that's the
house.
thing. It was coming to my house.
Well, what if somebody ordered it to your house to not sort of garner suspicion? Because then you could track sort of supposedly who the person is. So maybe they lived in town and
Well, that's
they're
the
going to
thing,
try
it's
and
like-
come pick it up off your porch.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is with that particular item, they required a confirmation signature. So it wasn't like
it's a lot of freaking money.
yeah, it's a lot of freaking money. So it wasn't like, they'd have to like make sure I wasn't home somehow, and then
Magically.
and yeah, magically make sure I wasn't home, and then somehow or other get it so that they were here and pretending to live here.
This could just like be a troll.
It could just
They
be
could just be messing with you and forcing you to go through the whole rigmarole of returns and junk.
yeah, and that's the thing that makes it really odd. That's the only thing we can think of is that they're just trying to troll us, because it's not like they're trying to.
Because that's a big ticket item for it to just randomly be purchased on your account.
Yeah, exactly.
So
And-
that somebody had to have been doing that. So
but
it's not
the
like
shipping address was my house.
right.
So it's not like they were sending it to Africa or something.
Maybe the guy screwed up, and
Could
maybe
be.
he just auto clicked to ship to the place that like the auto shipping address.
Yeah, he meant to say, send it to himself, but instead he accidentally sent it to me.
Right.
And that's a possibility. But anyway, so I got on with Amazon, and
you can
then
call Amazon customer support at like any time of the day.
Yeah.
Which is weird because I called them at 2 a.m. once, and there was some dude on there, some sad dude in India or something.
Yeah. So anyway, I get on Amazon the next day to find out what's going on, because we were kind of nervous because we're like, well, we got to make sure that we're here to intercept the shipping or to intercept the shipment and to refuse shipping and send it back.
Right.
And I get online, and the order's not there anymore. It's gone completely. And I'm like, crap, now what's going on? And so I get online with Amazon again. Nice. And
gosh dang it.
I like how you tossed him kind of off the edge there.
Yeah, it didn't turn out so well later on. Keep going.
But anyway, I get online with Amazon again. I'm like, hey, what's going on here? This order disappeared. And they're like, oh, well, it's been taken care of. Shipment's been interrupted. It's not coming to your house now. I'm like, okay, that sounds awesome. And so I'm just waiting now for the credit to appear on my credit card.
They just sort of intercepted it.
Yeah, it's like, they sent it to me on the 27th, which was Sunday, so they couldn't actually have shipped it that day. Because obviously they're not open to ship things. Anyway, so I went on to
Perks of a Christian-based society.
Yeah.
Or not perks, depending on how you look at it.
Depending on how you look at it, yeah. So anyway, I go ahead and I'm like, okay, so what's going on here? And they're like, oh yeah, we got it taken care of. I'm like, okay, cool, that sounds awesome. And so I'm thinking nothing more about it. And then I get a call from my daughter because we had to get a tire fixed. And so we got a call from my daughter, and she's like, UPS just came and dropped off a package. And they made her sign
Pro 4.
Huh?
It's your Surface Pro 4.
Exactly. So I get on Amazon again. I'm like, hey, what the heck happened? You said that you'd taken care of
Surface
this.
Pro 4, but I can't afford a Surface Pro 4.
I can't afford a Surface Pro 4.
Those things are awesome.
Yeah, I'm sure they are. But
I spent a lot of time researching Surface Pro 3. Those are awesome. The 4 has got to be like an additional number awesome.
Yeah, it's plus one awesome.
Yeah.
If we're going for RPG stuff, it's plus one to the awesome.
I'm so distracted your conversation. Keep me on.
So anyway, I get on with Amazon again. I'm like, what in the heck is going on here? I thought you guys took care of this. And they're like, yeah, it had been suppressed. So it didn't actually, they hadn't actually taken it off my account. They just suppressed it. So they removed it from my account. But they didn't actually do anything about getting it taken off my account. I'm like...
So you were still charged for it, and you
still
got it.
So I'm still charged for it. It was still sent to me, but the information was, like, deleted from my account.
That's weird.
I'm like, how does that help me?
So they basically erased the fact that you ever received it.
Yeah. Except that I got a text message... or not a text message. I got a notification from the Amazon app once again, and that I had received my package. I'm like, you guys have got to be so stupid. What is wrong with you people?
It's Amazon.
Yeah. So I get on with them again, and I say, hey, what's going on? You said that you'd had this taken care of, but obviously you didn't. And they're like, well, we'll get you in touch with the customer service, or not the service, the customer service, the account specialist. And the account specialist is supposed to get in touch with me and tell me what I need to do, right? So the account specialist, they said, we'll recommend that they email you, but we'll recommend that they call you, but they'll probably just send you an email. So I'm like, ah, man, you guys, really? So anyway, I get an email from them, but it doesn't say anything, really. It says, we've taken a look at your account for this unauthorized access, and we've disabled your account so that you can. Why are you getting killed?
I want to.
Oh,
if
okay.
you blow up that side, if you blow up those barrels, it actually opens up a secret. You'll see in a second.
Oh, I
it
see
actually
it.
opens up right to where the bonfire is, so I can walk right out of there as opposed to go all the way around.
Gotcha.
Which is super convenient.
That is convenient.
You just have to know it's there. I've known people who play through the entire game without actually knowing that secret, and it took them like the extra few minutes to just walk all the way around just to get to that spot.
So anyway, they never told me. So they said they deactivated my account and that I would have to go in and do a password recovery in order to get my to get access to my account again. So I'm like, oh, fine, that whatever. So
whatever I gotta do.
Whatever I gotta do. So I go in there and I get the account access again. And I'm trying to figure out what to do with this package because they didn't actually send me any information about, like, you know, how to send them back the package. And so we actually talked to UPS, and they said that as long as we don't actually open the package, they will return shipment for free.
Oh, it's called rejecting shipment or whatever.
Yeah. And so at this point, all we have to do is...
They do it with the Postal Service.
Yeah, yeah. All we have to do now is just take it down to them, and they'll ship it back to Amazon for free. But this morning, I got on and I started talking to them. I'm like, okay, so the package came. I got contacted by the account services people, but they didn't tell me how to go about getting, you know, this item back to you guys. And it's still being charged to my account, and I don't really want to pay you $2,000. So how do I get this back to you? And he looks in my account and he's like, is it this order? I'm like, yeah, that's the order. And he says, okay, don't ship it back to us yet. It's been suppressed, and if you ship it back to us, it will not be credited back to your account.
What?
I know. I'm like, really? You gotta be kidding me. So he has to escalate this to customer services.
Of course he has to. They call it escalation to make it sound like they're taking it seriously.
I know. Customer service has 1 to 2 business days to let me know what I need to do to get this returned to them, or even if I need to return it to them at all. You know what I mean? It would be awesome if they just said, you know, keep it.
We'll credit your account. Well, if that's the case, I'd come and rob your house for that thing.
And that's, you know, my wife is kind of paranoid about that. She's like, what if somebody's like, had this sent to our house and they're coming and they're like casing the joint? I'm like,
really? Your house?
I know.
They could do better. Like if that was the case, they could have set it up a little bit better. They intercepted the package, or they picked it off your porch, or shipped it somewhere else. Yeah,
they would have had to ship it to somewhere else because they actually had to get a signature.
There are a lot better options than casing the joint.
Yeah, I know.
She's suddenly like crime TV movie lingo.
Well, she didn't say that.
The joint. I swear, I saw this on like Dick Van.
No, I'm using that lingo. She didn't say that.
No, it's funnier if she said it.
It is kind of funny. But like what I ended up doing is, she's like, we had to leave to go somewhere, and she's like, we can't just leave this sitting around. What if somebody's like, you know, going to try to break in and steal it?
Well, and if you hide it, there's no way they're gonna.
We've got it hidden. There's no way that anybody's gonna find it.
Let the internet know right now where you hid it.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
Really?
I'm kind of paranoid too, because I mean, really, how does this come to my house and we, you know? Anyway, so it's a big fiasco, and they won't contact me for like 1 to 2 business days, so it's probably gonna be like January. Next week sometime, when I get
forever from now.
Yeah, when I finally get information back to them. from them. And then on top of that, it says that, um, at least as far as Amazon's policy goes, it's 1 to 2 business days
No.
after they receive the package that you get a refund. So it's like 1 to 2 business days for them to contact me, and then I've got to send it back to them. And if they decide that I merit the refund, it's like 1 to 2 business days after it actually gets to them. And so, yeah, I don't expect to see the $2,000 anytime soon, unfortunately.
So it's basically a huge inconvenience, and you lost $2,000 on your card that you're going to have to eventually get back down the road.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So, like I said, long involved story. Holy cow! I hate whoever did this to me.
They're all just giggling. He's probably like a 14-year-old kid. He's like, ha ha ha. For some reason, he sounded French.
Yeah, I know.
You're like, yeah. I imagine all
you,
French are kind of douchey.
if I find you, I will beat you.
No.
Yeah, so
I died. I died from the dumbest things possible. I died from getting shot by a trap inside a chest.
oh, I'm just seeing it now. I think. Yep, there's the crossbow.
Now I gotta go all the way down there and get my souls.
Without dying again.
Yeah, I wish.
So, anything new with you in the past couple of days?
I mean, there have been a lot of really good Steam sales, so I bought a couple games. I'm making a huge mistake, by the way.
Uh-huh.
I bought a couple games, which I've been looking at for a while, and I finally decided, hey, I can afford the extra $5 or whatever. Gosh dang it. Oh my god. I died again. So I got Karate Master 2, which I had a lot of fun with, and I beat completely and got all the achievements. Whoever made that game not only knows a lot about karate, but knows a lot about sort of like the legend ridiculousness of karate. Because you do, so it's sort of like an action fighter. So you do stuff like you train and you spar with these different like guys, and you compete in tournaments and you earn money. Because the goal is to eventually build your own dojo, right?
Right.
So when you fight and when you do things, you get training points. So you can spend those points on training and up like strength or speed or your chi or whatever, which is really just stamina, if we're being honest with ourselves. And you can do a lot of those things and build yourself up. And when you train, you do a bunch of these different things that are sort of both realistic and mythological training things that they would do in karate. So, for example, for strength training, some of the early stuff is like the first type of strength training you can do is break clay tiles. And you're like, oh, okay, break clay tiles. And the next one is like break a bunch of ice or whatever. And they're always like these little mini games where you like mash the button really quickly to try and be able to do it.
Okay.
So it's like, oh, line it up, mash the button a lot, and then build up your strength, and then break the glass or break the ice or whatever. And it's like, oh, okay, sweet. So you do that. Gosh dang it. These basic dudes are kicking the crap out of me. But then you get farther and you do a lot more like cliched stuff. Like there's a strength one where one of the training things you can do, where it's really just a mini game, but you can basically what you basically do is you either, for one of them, you punch raindrops falling off the side of a building, and another one you put out a candle, which is very much cliched sort of karate stuff. The putting out the candle thing, which I thought to be funny and cool at the same time. I was like, yeah, I'm putting out candles. Gosh dang it, I'm getting the crap beat out of me. I blame Jason. I'm gonna do it. I'm really distracted. There's other things where you like meditate in a waterfall and you build up your energy, and a lot of like cliched karate stuff, right?
Right.
Like stuff you would think that somebody who knew a lot about it would be like, oh yeah, you're put out candles and punch a ball hanging from a string or something ridiculous. So you do all of that, you do your training, you build up your strength, you fight in these tournaments. And the tournaments, so there's a few stats. Your strength does a lot of damage, speed makes it so you punch faster and punch harder.
Right.
The game's actually ridiculously fun. And they have, forget what the stat is called, but it's basically your ability to do lethal damage. And what I mean by, and it's not necessarily lethal, but what I mean by lethal damage is they have a concept in karate. What is it? Something Hisatsu, the one below shirt.
Iken Hisatsu.
Iken Hisatsu.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Iken Hisatsu, or was that the one they changed to?
It's shoot. I think it's Iken Hisatsu. It's Iken Hisatsu or Iken Tasho.
No, it's Hisatsu. At any rate, so you'll be fighting, and some guy, it's like a crit, right? So if some guy gets it off on you, you're dead. Like, he hits you, and then it shows like a dramatic like bone break, and then you're just done. And then it goes, Iken Hisatsu. And it's like, oh, come on. And so it finishes you, and there's a stat you can build up that increases your ability to crit. So you can have a really long, drawn-out fight where you're getting points, and the fight lasts for 2 minutes. Or he can just Iken Hisatsu you, and you're dead. And it's happened to me in like dramatic fights that I have to win, where I just get destroyed.
That's funny that they would put that in there.
I can do. Oh, it's freaking hilarious. Not so much when you're playing it, but it's hilarious when you play. Not so much when it happens to you. When you do it to other people, it's awesome because you feel super cool when it happens.
Because you're like, yeah, take that.
Gosh dang it.
Having a lot of fun there?
No. I'm getting the crap beat out of me. I'm surrounded by like 5 guys.
In that little skinny corridor there?
No.
Well, not corridor. Corridor's the wrong word for it.
So you do a lot of cliched karate stuff and training and whatnot. And then it goes even more ridiculous. You get to a certain point where you get to a high enough level of fame that you can do... You have an optional sort of legendary fight where you can fight a bull.
Okay.
And you fight it, and he basically charges you multiple times. So you either have to be ridiculously high level or have ridiculously awesome timing to fight the bull.
That sounds funny.
It. I'm trying to talk at the same time. So you can fight the bull and you kill him. And then there's a secret fight where if you kill the bull 10 times, you can fight a bear. And so I fought the bear and I beat the bear and I got the achievement for that. And the goal is to get enough money to buy your own dojo.
Right.
So I got enough money to buy my own dojo. And the guy's like, no, you can't do that. You have to do this other thing. And so I have to raise even more money. And there's like this underground fighting ring you unlock right near the end. Where it's like you gotta... It's like Bloodsport. Where you fight a bunch of guys. Because you can go and compete in a few different tournaments. But Bloodsport is sort of like the final thing where you can get loads of money by competing in the Bloodsport. Which is entertaining, but it's Bloodsport. So you either lose a lot of money doing it or you gain a lot of money doing it. And you get seriously injured, and if you get seriously injured, you have to do like this mashing game to like recover. It's really fun. The game's a blast, and it's not very long, so I beat it like in a day or something. Like maxed out everything, but I quite enjoyed myself nonetheless.
No, that's awesome.
The reason why I'm playing Dark Souls 2
Uh-huh.
is they had the ability to upgrade your normal copy of Dark Souls 2 to the Scholar of the First Sin edition, which is
Okay.
like all of the DLC
Oh, nice.
and the 64-bit version, which upgrades the graphics, so to speak.
Uh-huh.
Which works out really well because now it runs in 64-bit. So I have all the DLC for $10 and the 64-bit version, which is the higher res version,
Right.
which is why I'm currently playing it. Let's see. I spent a ridiculous amount of time doing stuff that I really didn't need to do. So they have something called Smart Glass for the Xbox One,
Okay.
which I used, and I set up with my phone. And what it means is I can control my Xbox One with my phone.
Right.
So I spent a lot of time trying to figure out why the router wouldn't let me connect. And the Wi-Fi had all these restrictions and yada yada yada. And eventually I was able to figure out that there was an issue with the Wi-Fi and I had to like disable it,
Okay.
which I was able to figure out. Fantastic. I got it to work today. I spent like all morning and sometime yesterday trying to figure out why it wouldn't let me do it, and then I finally figured it out. And it's nice. It's just not, the greatest thing ever. But I can control my Xbox One with my phone, and it's
That's kinda
convenient when doing like Netflix or.
Right.
Because I decided, I got all bitter about I have my PS4, why would I use the Xbox One for this, and this? And
Right.
I finally decided, you know what, the Xbox One's meant to be an entertainment hub. And since my cable's plugged into it, and I never use my cable because I have to turn on my Xbox One,
Uh-huh.
I might as well use it as an entertainment hub. So I'm trying to transfer all the Netflix and Hulu and Amazon stuff over to the Xbox One, and then I'm setting up the remote so I can just use it like a remote and then access everything.
Right.
So it's all super convenient and high-techy and stupid. So I spent a lot of time doing that. Incidentally, it integrates really well with the PC,
Uh-huh.
so I can connect it to it. And I can apparently stream to my TV or play a game on my computer from my Xbox One. And I can stream live what's happening on the Xbox One to my PC. And
Cool.
I can turn off my Xbox One from my PC. I can also
That's kinda
turn it
cool.
on and do a bunch of other things. So, I mean, it's all this integration. In reality, I'm probably just going to pick up the controller and push the power button
Right.
rather than go through all this weird process. But theoretically that I can is kind of cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's one of the things I liked about... I mean, they obviously don't have that for the 360, but with the YouTube...
They do. They have Smart Glass for the 360.
Oh,
And
hey,
it works.
Cool.
Apparently it does.
I'll have to look at it.
You set it up with your phone, and since you have a fancy phone, it should work.
Right. No, what I was going to say is when Xbox decided that you could watch YouTube and you didn't have to have an Xbox Live account, I went and got on YouTube and we watched movies and whatnot on the Xbox. The thing that I liked was being able to control which videos I was watching from my tablet. I didn't have to...
through YouTube. Yeah, that's integrated with pretty much everything now.
I didn't... that trying to type in each letter with the controller rather than just having a little keyboard that I can touch, it was so much smoother.
Well, here's the silly thing that's really convenient. What's the worst thing to do on the Xbox One is to set up stuff and type in passwords. So you do it as rarely as possible because it's really stupid and nobody likes to do it, right?
Well, the thing is the passwords are so... I mean, at least with the Xbox 360...
Well, mine are always crazy complex.
Well, no, I meant with the Xbox 360, you got 4 buttons to set up a password.
Oh, no, I'm talking like set up my Amazon or Gmail account.
Oh, right.
Or Netflix or something. Like, those are always crazy complex to set up.
Yeah, and the passwords are obnoxiously
So here's
long.
the thing with smart glass with the
Uh-huh.
Xbox as well as the PC integration.
Uh-huh.
So I got everything set up perfectly, and I was in there, and I was like, well, I'm going to set up Amazon and Netflix and Hulu. So I started downloading. So I went in and started to enter the passwords, and it immediately showed up as I'm sitting on my computer, showed up with the, well, since we're connected, it showed up with a box on there, so I can just type it in on here, and it enters it in on the Xbox One.
That's awesome.
And my phone gave me the option to do that as well.
That's pretty cool.
So I was like, oh, that kind of works and junk, so, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
So now it's crazy easy or whatever.
Cool.
So yeah, I waste. The PS4 has a similar setup where you can control the PS4 from your controller. It
Right.
just doesn't integrate with the Windows because of Windows.
Right, it's Windows.
So I can't be like, oh, shut down my PS4 from my computer because Microsoft and Sony don't agree with each other
Yeah, they need to get over it.
or whatever. Nah, people buy into the war.
That's true.
If you're not fighting the war, then what are you doing? I mean, come on.
Yeah, you got to be a shill for
You
one
gotta be
side or
picking
the
a
other.
side. You gotta be dying in the trenches for the people you care about. Despite all of that, and all the fun I've been having with integrating things and, you know, ridiculous
Right.
integration when it's not really that big a deal and I probably won't use it that much. It's been really convenient. It's been really cool. Other than that, there's been, I think I mentioned I downloaded Mass Effect to see if it worked on the Xbox One, and
Yeah.
it does.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
Charger works and everything. I'm playing a game and I'm distracted myself, and I keep thinking there was something I was going to mention, but I can't think of it. I have been playing some PC games lately. I need to jump into the Xbox One, but I've just been, you know,
Well,
that's
actually-
why I've been transferring everything to the Xbox One so that I'm forced to use it more.
So, I have Destiny, and I have the Destiny app on my phone. It doesn't really do a lot. It gives you kind of updates on news and stuff that Bungie puts out.
Yeah, here's the new update or whatever.
Yeah. But one thing it does do is if you have integrated if you've gone onto the Destiny website and integrated your Xbox Live account with the Destiny stuff on their website, you can even do it with your PlayStation account.
Whoops.
What it'll do is it will, if they're integrated like that, it will tell you, like, I can pull up the Destiny app and I can see my Xbox friends and see if they're online and invite them to play Destiny if I want.
Don't invite me.
But well, the thing is
Me and
that,
Destiny have a thing, and we're never going to play with each other.
yeah. The thing that I noticed, though, is that it does the same thing that, like, your Xbox does when it tells you, like, your friends online and what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I've noticed that you've been playing Tomb Raider.
My sister has.
Oh, it's your sister's playing it on your
Yeah.
account?
And here's the stupid thing. I'm so integrated with the PC and stuff, whenever she gets an achievement,
Uh-huh.
I see it.
It pops up
So it
and
sends
says
me
you
like
got
a
an
little email, like, you got an achievement. And I was like, no, I don't want to.
I don't
Shut
want
up,
that
Xbox.
achievement. I want to get it myself.
No, she's been getting them all. And she's one of those people where she has to experience everything in the game, so I'm just going to let her get everything in the game.
That's
It's
fun.
like, screw it.
So you're having people get achievements for you now.
Well, I've got a bunch of games to play, and I actually plan on playing it myself, but
Right.
I'm just going to let her finish it so that I can actually have time and not, like, interfere with her all that much.
Right.
You know what I mean? That way we're not both competing to play it or anything. And I know I bought it and it's mine, but I'm a nice person sometimes. So I'm letting her play it as of late. And I'll just, I'll probably jump into it when she's done. I need to start loading up, like, Sunset Overdrive. I played some Gears of War lately. I've been doing some other things.
I want to hear your opinion when you get into playing Sunset Overdrive of the game, because I've heard a lot of good stuff about it.
Oh, it's so pretty. It's a good looking game.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Good looking. I've heard it's fun too. So
Yeah. Gosh dang it. It looked like a lot of fun, and that was one of the Sunset Overdrive. I mean, I didn't buy the Xbox One just for one game,
Right.
but Sunset Overdrive was one of those things where you go, "Oh, look at that awesome exclusive." I don't like there being exclusives that I can't play. I like having the option when there's a really cool game that I can play it if I want to.
Right.
Which was part of the motivation of getting the Xbox One, is I want to be able to play all the games if I want to, as opposed to be restricted to, oh, I'm only a PS4 guy, so screw really cool looking games like Sunset Overdrive and Tomb Raider, and you know what I mean?
Well, Tomb Raider, not necessarily, because supposedly
Well,
you'll
like
be able
a
to.
year.
Yeah. But yeah, Sunset Overdrive is one of those ones that's an exclusive.
So now I can play Tomb Raider whenever I want to when it releases, because I'm not restricted because of console, and I can get the new Final Fantasy whenever I want, or not Final Fantasy, Street Fighter whenever
Right.
I want, without restriction, because I own a PS4. So screw loyalty. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like we all pretend, oh, it's because of this, and this. Is like, no, I want to play every game whenever I want to. And I don't like people being like, oh, well, you can't, because...
you can't because of reasons.
yeah. Because some CEO made some deal of some kind, and I was like, no, I'm gonna buy the consoles. If I feel like playing an NES game, I'm just going to pick it up and play it. I don't like emulating or...
Right. It's one of those things where
Unless
it
the
would be
emulator's
nice.
perfect or something.
Yeah.
But they never always are.
Yeah, they never are.
I mean...
I did have a guy. I do have a guy that a friend of mine. What he did was he's really into hardware and stuff.
Right.
And so he created his own arcade panel.
That has all of it in there.
It has, well, he created the joystick and everything, so it has like the arcade buttons and the arcade joystick. And then he's got an emulator that runs a bunch of those old arcade games. And so you can play Street Fighter and the old arcade version of it. And it works pretty well. It's, like I said, but it's an older one and he's running it on a really nice computer. So
there's this guy I listen to sometimes who's got a bit of money because he's fairly well known in the YouTube community.
Uh-huh.
But he will buy arcade machines. And
Right.
he's decided that he's not going to buy arcade machines unless he can't get them otherwise. So sort of like the arcade games that only exist on arcade.
Right.
As opposed to, I have to have the Street Fighter version of an arcade machine.
Right.
And they always look and feel better, but I get his sentiment, where there are some games you just can't play unless you get the arcade version.
Right.
So sometimes you just like, I'm going to buy the arcade machine for that game. But
Yeah.
it'd be nice if you got them all and integrated into one super arcade machine and then just use that.
Yeah, that would be nice. I don't know that you can do that, but
Theoretically, it'd be nice if you could.
yeah.
I'm wasting time and torch power. I agree with the sentiment, though. I like the idea of being able to play what I want to when I want to.
Yeah, it's one of those things where that's one of the things I always hated about arcades and why I very rarely ever played any arcade games was because of how much money it took to actually play them.
I always lost so much on the machine because I was never any good.
I did like they had a couple of places here, well, not actually here in Logan, but in Utah, where...
There's a big arcade area here in Logan, and they actually set it up really nicely. Have you seen the new setup?
Yeah, I went. We were at the mall a few weeks ago. Lisa had some friends that came to visit.
Because I've talked to the guy there. He wants me to help repair some of his machines and stuff.
Uh-huh.
So I can just go in and figure stuff out because I know enough about stuff to fix it. But I told him, I don't know anything about arcade machines.
Right.
So he's coin up, like, I don't know anything. He's like, no, if you come in or whatever. Because to him, there's no, water off his back because
It's broken. It's not making him any money at this
Well,
point. If you can,
and he isn't going to pay me unless I fix it. So
right,
he pays me per like one that gets back to functioning.
right,
So I could waste all my time trying to get it to work, and that's my time I'm wasting, not his.
right, right.
But they set it up in a very smart way. All of them are unlocked, all the machines.
Uh-huh.
And what you do is you pay $5 and you can play as long as you want to.
That's nice.
So I was like, that is how you make an arcade nowadays.
Yeah.
Not the whole like drop quarters in like crazy. That's how you make an arcade. So that actually motivated me to go, yeah, I kind of want to go over there and like blow $5 and just play as many old school arcade machines as I can.
Right.
But
See,
we
that
should just
makes
go over
sense
there
because
and do that and like play Galaga or something stupid.
yeah, you go over there and you stay for as long as you want, playing as many games as you want. You kind of feel like you have good value for your money.
Yeah, and they just have one guy sitting there, like eyeballing everybody.
Right. The thing is that like they used to have this thing called a nickelcade, where instead of being 25 cents to play, it was a nickel to play the games.
They're always crappy games, though, aren't they?
No, it was the the state of the art newly released games and everything that they had like.
I'm getting
In order to
crabbied
make
out
the,
of me. Of course, my health is half of what it should be.
it was like you had to pay $1 to get in, and then every game was like a nickel. So they kind of did that same kind of thing that they were doing here. A little bit different though, but yeah.
Yeah. Despite that, we've been wasting time talking about stuff. A year in review. So, Jason, we're going to go through our favorites and junk. The most important thing, though, is what I want to talk about at first. Things you remember, important stuff that happened in geek, nerd, video game related, and stuff that happened this year.
Mm-hmm.
So what stood out to you?
The Final Fantasy VII
Final
remake.
Fantasy VII was a big one. Shenmue's
Shenmue 3, the Kickstarter.
One.
Yeah.
PlayStation killing it.
PlayStation just totally wasting Xbox.
Uh-huh.
It was awesome.
Screw you, Xbox, and your consumer unfriendly practices.
That was exactly it. It was like when the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, when they were hyping them up to get them to get everybody ready for the purchases and stuff, they're like, no backwards compatibility, always on. You can't you can't share your games. You can't sell your games. All that crap. I'm like, I don't have to take this.
No, you don't. You don't have to buy their I died again. You don't have to buy their console. You don't have. I think they thought it was sort of a DRM setup where you buy it, you can use it all over the place, etc., etc., almost like a Steam machine. But what we accept on PC is not what we accept on console. And they thought they were making what is essentially the PC version of the game console, well, a game console version of the PC, and so. They figured, oh, well, Steam, this, and this. I was like, the console community is not the PC community.
Yeah.
PC community will let you get away with a lot of stuff as long as it's cheaper, as long as they can do whatever they want to. They can mod, they can change things. Console community, they want a physical copy. They want to be able to play and trade with their friends. It's all about socializing in community. PC guys are, I would say, probably more... socially inept. You know what I mean? Like more solo about stuff. They want to do things on their own, and if they play multiplayer, then they do.
Right.
But they were banking on everybody to act the same, and they are not gonna.
Yeah, there's a lot of things about the PC console community or the PC community that's not true of the console community.
Yeah, the PC people tend to be more elitist.
Yeah, there is that.
Tend to think more of themselves.
Their hardware and stuff is better than the console hardware.
It's always better.
Yeah.
Well, and it is if you're willing to pay like 5 times as much as the console price.
Yeah.
You can always get something better.
Exactly.
That's what was so stupid about it. It's like, oh, PC's so much better. It's like, well, yeah, theoretically, if you're willing to pay like $2,000 for a mid-range PC.
Right. Exactly. It's like You could have a mid-range PC, or you could have a console that's
That plays exactly what you want to. And
yeah.
see what they earn money off the consoles is selling the software. That's
See,
where they get their money.
that's the thing about like Microsoft and stuff. It's like Microsoft, they're getting their money from the console, not necessarily the games.
No, not even the console. They often sell the consoles at reduced or lower price, and there's actually a number for many consoles. It's a number of how much money they earn off the well, it's like how many games they have to sell before they start earning their money back is the sort of thing. And you'd be surprised, the most profitable console in the market today is actually the Wii U.
Right.
It takes one game before they start making money off of that console, whereas a lot of the consoles usually are like 2 or 3 games before they actually start making their money. And honestly, and you start to think about that, you're like, oh, no wonder they charge so friggin' much.
Well, yeah, there is that, but it's one of those things where it's like you said, you don't have to buy their console. They came out and they're like, yeah, we're going to do all this, and you're just going to buy our console. And we're like, no.
But they're banking on the fact that, fanboys, they're gonna buy it anyway.
But the thing is
And
Microsoft.
we were like, no, we don't have to buy your garbage.
Microsoft isn't necessarily making money off the games themselves, because they're from other developers.
They do, because they have
the other developers do license through the software and stuff, but it's like an indirect profit. You know what I mean?
No, I think they might get money per disc or something. I don't know.
I don't know.
Because I know that was a big deal with the NES, where it was like Nintendo certified, because people started making games without Nintendo certification, like cracking the DRM coding into the console, and so it became a big deal. Oh, he's dead. It became a big deal that Nintendo had to have that Nintendo
the seal of approval.
Yeah, the seal of approval. That way you were getting a decent game and it was Nintendo approved and all of that junk.
Which was pretty much a waste.
Sega had a big fight with EA, where EA cracked their stuff and they were actually going to hold their DRM stuff for ransom. It was really bad.
Yeah, that was so funny.
I talked about that. Well, I looked into it and talked about it mainly because I couldn't play an EA game on my Sega Genesis. And I didn't understand why, and I finally looked it up and I was like, oh, they don't want me to.
But, well, I guess what I'm trying to get at is that it's like Microsoft is pushing the consoles, and while they are getting money from licensing and stuff, it's not like I go and I buy a disc and money goes directly into Microsoft's pocket when I buy that disc.
Yeah, I don't know how that setup is. You're probably right. They probably don't get direct, but they might get a percentage every time.
There might be I think it's more of
sure.
Yeah. But anyway, it's what really ticked me off was it's like they're trying to make me so that I have to put the disc in, and I have to, and I can't swap it with my friends, when really that doesn't affect Microsoft. It affects the game developer. So is this are they in collusion with the game developer here?
Oh, I'm sure they get more of a percentage off of digital sales and that sort of thing.
Well, yeah.
Because it goes through their servers and they have to...
Yeah, it goes through the Microsoft Marketplace.
They have to maintain marketplace space and server space and
and so
issues and all of that.
That's another reason why we're not seeing drops in digital.
Not only that, but they don't actually have to print a physical copy, so they get more money off of it just outright. But I don't know their actual big business deals on that end. Whoa.
Yeah, but let's see what else this year. We played. Vermintide.
We had a big
Vermintide going on the beta
setup. It wasn't as big a boon for the podcast as we hoped it would, but
it was awesome that people actually listened.
Yeah, people actually listened. The Vermintide people were really great. They advertised it. We advertised it. They were actually happy with the conversation. We were happy with it. Victor was a real nice guy.
Yeah, Victor was great to talk to.
We should try and do more of that with more developers we see down the road, and not just because we're interested in Warhammer. Just ask, find a game we like and see if we can't chat with them, because those people are always like, I'll waste an hour and try and get more basically free advertising for my game.
Yeah. Let's see. I played the Battleborn beta.
You talk about Battleborn like crazy. You should.
I have tried to contact them. I'll try again. See if we can get some.
Jeez, how many people they send at me?
The thing is that I realize that it may not be the game that you want to play, but I do like the visuals. I do like the humor.
I've honestly never looked at it, downloaded the beta, never played it. So I could like it, but I'm not as hyped for it as Jason seems to be.
Let's see what I'm kind of hesitant to throw my support behind it completely, like in a financial way.
So you're not even like 100% sold on the game. See, I was sold on Vermintide from what I'd seen from talking to the people. I was like, this looks like a pretty good game.
Well,
and I had a lot of fun with it, and I still plan on going back and playing more. Me and Jason just need more time to actually sit down and game together.
The reason that I'm not completely 100% sold on it is because the vast amount of player characters. The thing is that
the balance is off, you think? Or
I think the balance is off. I played the co-op mode, and I had a coworker who played the competitive mode. He tried to get in on the co-op mode, but the co-op mode got so bombarded that the only thing he could get into was the competitive mode. And when he was playing it, he kind of got stuck with this one character, and he just got his butt handed to him. And it could be that
Overwatch, I heard, is a really good game in a similar vein.
Yeah, Overwatch looked pretty interesting, but again,
I heard a lot of really good things about Overwatch.
It's one of those where it's as far as I can tell, it's like a strictly PvP game.
Yeah, that is strictly PvP.
That's not my genre, so.
It's like a co-op PvP, so it's not really a.
You have two sides. You pick your characters. You go and you try to kill each other.
Yeah, I'd almost say it's the MMO equivalent of a first-person shooter. not an MMO, sort of a MOBA equivalent.
Yeah, and I mean, the visuals looked good. The character development looked interesting. There was a bunch of stuff that looked really nice about the game, but again, it's like, I'm not interested in that kind of stuff. Give me a co-op mode. Yeah. See, that's why I never played the competitive mode on Battleborn. I just played the co-op.
I almost never played PvP on Star Wars: The Old Republic, and I subscribed to that for like 6 months or a year. Like, I sunk money into that game.
Yeah. So.
I was like, PvP. I mean, I know I did play it like a couple of times, but. I mean, we had the big year of Star Wars.
Star Wars
huge. We had the big build-up, and despite disappointments, it was definitely Star Wars, the Star Wars year. A lot of hype and a lot of excitement. Marvel had a really good year.
Star Wars made $1 billion faster than any movie in history.
Yeah, and they're geared up to basically kill everything.
Yes,
like across the board. And I'm happy about that because I like Star Wars, I like the movie, and I hate Avatar.
Yeah.
So James Cameron is going to be like, oh, we're going to come out with more Avatar movies. And I was like, I guarantee you they ain't going to be Star Wars. You will not make up for that excitement of that first Avatar movie and make up the distance. Because to him, he's like, oh, I'm spreading awareness of blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, but Star Wars. Star Wars will beat you every time.
Yeah, and the thing about Avatar, the premise behind Avatar was so awful. I can't believe people actually enjoyed that movie.
Nerd rage was a big part of this year.
Yeah.
people
There's
being not being understanding, and people basically being as bigoted as possible on the internet. Whether or not you were in support of or against anything, you were usually bigoted. Like, because they always made a big deal of, oh, look at these terrible people who are sexist and don't care about women and stuff. And I was like, yeah, have you heard the feminist side, like, calling everybody a bigot for everything, even if you have a reasonable discussion? Like, basically, this was the year of nobody being reasonable about anything.
Well, you're on the internet. Why be reasonable?
No, well, the internet was worse this year, I can tell you that.
Well, I think it may be just going, just progressing. You know what I mean? Last year was
this
pretty
is a
bad.
natural growth for the internet, is what you're saying?
Yeah, it'll get more unreasonable every year.
That was pretty freaking unreasonable this year.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I attracted these guys' attention, and I did not want to. Nope.
Yeah, so let's see what else. Like you said, Marvel had a good year this year. There was
the possibility and letdown of the future Batman versus Superman movie.
Yeah, the Batman
well, at least
Superman
letdown
hype.
for us. We thrashed that movie like crazy, or at least I did.
Yeah, there was
and
also
unreasonably, to be fair, being unreasonable about it, mainly because we haven't seen this movie yet.
Yeah,
I'm just saying it doesn't look good.
It could be awesome, but right now it looks.
I thought Star Wars was going to be the greatest thing ever, and it disappointed me. So, you know, who am I to say what's going to be good anymore? I can't predict anything.
Yeah.
Some really good games to come out this year. This was a year of PS4 for me. I mainly played PS4 games. If I were to say the one game that stood out all year as my favorite game of the year, would probably not be most people's favorite game. But I would say it's Arkham Knight for me.
Arkham Knight. I was actually going to mention Arkham Knight. We started off about Batman.
Because a lot of people had criticism of it, and the PlayStation, the PC release was so bad that it sort of marred Arkham Knight for everybody. But I considered it to be the big game because I was able to fall into it and enjoy it more than any other game that came out this year.
I was going to say the thing about the Arkham Knight, it was fine on the console's release, but it's still like a game-breaking bug situation on the PC version after all this time. They still haven't fixed it.
Well, yeah, what I'm saying is the game itself, people actually had a lot of like narrative criticism, and I didn't. I actually quite enjoyed it. I loved it thoroughly.
Well,
I thought it was fantastic, and I placed it above like Bloodborne and stuff, and I played a lot of Bloodborne.
Yeah, yeah. I played a little bit of Bloodborne, played Arkham. I think I liked Arkham better than Bloodborne.
Bloodborne's basically, it's Souls games, as most people tend to describe them, is an exercise of hitting your head against a wall until you find the weak spot on the wall.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, that doesn't sound fun. I was like, well, when you get good at hitting your head against the wall, then it actually becomes pretty entertaining.
Yeah.
But it's repetition. It's figuring out. You have to die to understand how you died to be able to solve the problem of dying.
To figure out how to beat the bad guy and continue on.
Right,
yeah.
And that's basically what a Souls game is. So Bloodborne did it really well because it was seamless. The controls were great.
Yeah.
It moved fantastically. When you died, you didn't get this impression of, oh, this cheap game. You got the impression of, well, I just wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
Because you got the feeling that if you were better, it wouldn't have been so bad. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's what a Souls game should do. That's what a good video game should do. Is they should give you the impression that if you were better, you wouldn't have died. As opposed to, this game is cheap. There's like 40 guys and there was nowhere to stand.
Exactly. There's the. It's like you said. There's the difference between a game that's just impossible to beat and a game that's very, very difficult.
I'm doing really badly, but to be honest, I'm talking a lot, so.
And this is a game that's very, very difficult.
Yeah, well, it's not a game I could do casually. That's a.
Yeah, yeah. So, what else about this year?
Do you have a game that stood out for you this year that you played a lot, that was your game, your favorite game? I guess you're going to declare your game of the year. Jason's
Um,
personal game of the year, everybody.
I don't know that I have one.
Jason has no convicted opinion on a game of the year, everybody.
Well, the thing is like I played a lot of Borderlands, the pre-sequel, and I enjoyed
So
it.
pre-sequel, but you wouldn't say it's your game of the year.
But I didn't like it as much as I liked Borderlands 2. I thought
And you
Borderlands
loved
2 was
Borderlands
better.
2.
Yeah, I did. Um, and I played a lot of Destiny, but Destiny came out last year.
True.
I mean, this year they came out with their third DLC, The Taken King, but
You're not
again,
interested in getting that.
I actually have all the DLC for Destiny. I've been playing through.
Lindsay doesn't.
I enjoyed Destiny. I think it was a fun game.
Well,
but
Lindsay beat it, and then she lost all interest in the game. Is the problem?
see, that's
After
the
she
thing.
beat it, she was done, and she's like, "Eh."
You really have to. There's really not a lot to keep pulling you back unless you get the DLC, in my opinion, or you're really big into PvP stuff.
The game that everybody keeps reminding everybody is not an MMO, but pretends to be an MMO.
But pretends to be an MMO. Yeah. See, that's the thing. It's like you said. They're like, we're not an MMO. We're not an MMO, and people
Yeah,
keep.
stop treating us like that. Stop expecting constant content.
Yeah.
It's basically a single. It's basically a single disc for single player and multiplayer. And everyone's like, "This game sucks. I'm not playing anymore." It's like, what? Did you expect everybody to play it forever like an MMO and then pretend it's not?
Yeah. I think they really did, and like I said, I've enjoyed Destiny, but I don't think it's really been my game of the year. It's not like I go and I sit there and I'm like, oh man, I gotta play Destiny, or I gotta play Borderlands 2, or Borderlands the pre-sequel. Last year I would have said Borderlands 2 was my game of the year, but this year, I haven't really found anything that I was like, oh, I gotta play this. Vermintide is right up there.
Yeah.
Seriously, the visuals were great. I really did enjoy the Left 4 Dead kind of feel, because I'm not a zombie.
It looked and felt really good.
Yeah, I'm not a zombie game player, but the Left 4 Dead franchise has been excellent, and so this game is really, in my opinion, a spiritual successor almost. I mean, it feels very good.
And I like that they don't pretend that they weren't doing that. They're like, no, yeah, we were super good for a Left 4 Dead feel. We wanted basically a melee Left 4 Dead sort of game.
Yeah.
That's what they made. And it was set in the Warhammer universe, and it felt very Warhammer.
Yeah, it did.
More than most games, it super felt like it was a Warhammer game.
Exactly. And so that would be right up there, I think. Possibly higher than well, at least tied with the pre-sequel.
Uh-huh.
But it's one of those where, for me, I think this year you introduced me to Guns of Icarus.
Uh-huh.
I really enjoyed that game as well. I don't know if it came out this year or not. Huh?
I don't know, but that's the year. I think this was the year we got it. So, if it did come out this year, whatever.
Yeah. So Guns of Icarus was another good one. But yeah, I can't really say that I had a game of the year this time around.
Disappointing, Jason.
Sorry.
How about a movie?
Movie of the year.
Because there were some good movies, but nothing that made me go, "Oh yeah, that's a movie." You know what I mean? As I can hear Jason searching to remind himself what came out this year.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to think of which movies I saw this year that came out this year. In and Out was pretty good. I enjoyed that one.
In and Out was fantastic. I really like Bridge of Spies, so of course that's right up my alley.
Uh-huh.
So it's easier for me to be like, oh yeah, Bridge of Spies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Martian was really good.
Unfortunately, let's see. So
Jason doesn't see new movies.
I don't see new movies very often. Um, I'm trying to
I
see
think
these.
thematically, if I were to say Star Wars, that would be accurate, but I wouldn't say it would be my favorite movie this year.
Yeah.
Like overall,
Just
just
looking.
getting ready for Star Wars and thinking about Star
Well,
Wars.
like so, of the new movies that came out this year, I mean, I haven't seen a lot of them. They just really weren't ones that.
Okay, after Jason's Google search,
Well, so I saw Avengers: Age of Ultron.
it was okay.
Um,
I mean, it was.
Again,
I liked it. It was good, just not great.
not great, exactly. I saw Minions. It was fun to watch.
This is like the year of pretty good movies.
Yeah.
It makes me sound like a douche, but I was like, it's not the year of standout movies for me.
And
mean,
I
there
saw
were some basic good non-nerdy movies that were just pretty darn good. But
I saw Pixels. It was better than I thought it would be.
I saw The Ridiculous Six. It was a Netflix movie, and that movie was horrible.
I saw Jupiter Ascending mostly because I like sci-fi movies, but it was
Oh, that's a terrible movie.
a terrible movie. But I'd have to say that of all the movies that I saw this year, the one that I was most hyped to see was The Force Awakens.
But was it your favorite movie?
It was probably my favorite movie that came out this year.
All right. See, that's the thing, though. It doesn't bother me if people like the movie. If somebody's like, "Oh, I thought it was fantastic," I was like, "Good for you. You got a lot of fun out of something you paid for."
Right.
I just didn't like it as much as everybody else.
Well, that's the thing. It's like I'm looking at these movies and I'm like going, "Well, The Avengers kind of disappointed me. Inside Out was good, but it wasn't
Inside Out
really."
was great. It was one of those really good Pixar movies that make you feel slightly bad about life. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
You're like, "Oh my gosh, my innocence is gone." How
I
dare you,
love
Pixar?
I love Despicable Me 1 and 2, but Minions was only kind of good.
I never saw Minions. Of course, you have to. You have children.
I have kids, yeah. And so I still need to see the Peanuts movie.
Peanuts movie. I would say the Peanuts movie was my movie.
I love the Aardman films. Is that right? The Wallace and Gromit and those things. They came out with Shaun
right.
the Sheep, the movie. And I liked the Shaun the Sheep shorts. Those were really funny, but I haven't seen that one. And I can't believe they're on Alvin and the Chipmunks 4.
I like Alvin and the Chipmunks. They were a great part of my childhood. I loved the characters.
Uh-huh. I don't even want to see the
first movie.
movies.
I kind of liked it. I think I saw the second one, but it was terrible. And I never saw the third one. And now they went on vacation for some reason.
Yeah. So, like, I don't know. Inside Out, like I said, I enjoyed it, but I didn't really, really enjoy it. So, I must be dead inside.
You are. So am I, but it just made me deader.
There you go.
It made me watch it, and I was like, oh, my childhood's gone. Because it's really about losing parts of yourself when you grow up.
Yeah.
You know, the part that cares about stupid things. And I'm pretty good looking right now. I'm talking about the character.
Other than that, I don't know. This year was kind of disappointing in a lot of ways.
The year of disappointment for Jason.
Well, it's like you and I had the same kind of feeling. We went to see Star Wars, and we're like,
we didn't even. That's the funny thing. We both walked out, and I sat in the car, and I hadn't even said anything to you. I said something to Lindsay, and you were giving me a ride home, and Lindsay went off to her place, and I was like, "So what'd you think about the movie?" And you sort of went, "Eh," and my immediate response was, the first thing when I came out of the movie, Lindsay turned to me and she goes, "So what'd you think?" And I was like, or no, she didn't even say, "What did you think?" She turned to me and said, "You don't look happy." And I was like, "Yeah." I didn't even feel angry or good. I just felt empty inside
Yeah.
after seeing that movie, and that's not a good response for a movie that I should love unconditionally.
No, we both sat down, and the one of the first things I said to you after you asked me that question was there was something missing.
Yeah, you said there was something missing. I remember that.
And so that, I mean, that's how felt to me. It's like I watched it and I thought, this is. I was really excited to see this movie. I was really looking forward to it, and then at the end we're like, I felt like there was just something missing from the movie. The whole time I was sitting there, I was, like you said, there was an emptiness.
What was missing from the movie was a new movie.
Yeah, yeah. Both Lindsay and my wife both commented on the fact that, like Lindsay said, I felt like I'd seen this movie before, and my wife was saying, it just felt like watching the first Star Wars again.
See, that's the funny thing. I've listened to a lot of reviews on the movie to see if I'm just out of control on my opinion. And you run the gamut of opinions on this thing, because I saw a lot of people really praise it.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems to me, without even talking about it, that if there's a big group of people that go to see the movie, usually they have sort of a shared opinion.
Yeah.
Which is odd, because it's like I saw one, it's like everybody loved it, they thought it was fantastic, and I was like, really? I didn't get the same opinion as everybody else, but they all went and saw it together, and they walked away with the same sort of feel of the movie. All of us went and saw it. We didn't talk about it during the movie. We weren't like criticizing or anything. We all walked out with the universally going like, it's kind of disappointing. Like, I gave it an 8, I think, when we did our review. Afterwards, I settled on a 7. And I'm not saying it's a terrible 7. I'm saying it's a high. I'm saying it's a C+ or a B-. I think it's a good movie. I think it's actually a good Star Wars movie. It felt more like Star Wars than the prequels did.
Yes, it
I
did.
still don't think it's great, though, and I have issues with it.
Yeah.
It's funny too, because if you give guys enough time to talk about it, even the hard reviewers that love the crap out of it, they seem to find problems with it.
Yeah,
it's just they're willing to give it a huge amount of leeway because it's the first movie. Wait until we see the second one, which I don't think is a reasonable response.
No, that seems like it's like if it is resting on the or it's waiting on the acclaim from the second movie to make it good, or the third movie,
it'll never be good enough.
Yeah.
And then a lot of them were like, oh, well, it was fun, I liked it. And then a lot of responses of people who were upset by all the criticism were like, you don't like fun, you're just trying to destroy everybody's fun. And I was like, I at no point am I trying to destroy anybody's fun. Max Landis took a lot of criticism from people saying that he was a sexist for even criticizing the movie. It's like, you don't want women to have strong female characters. And he's like, I want women to have strong female characters. I just don't think she's a very strong female character. He's like, I don't think she's very good. But he's like, I didn't go to your house and force you to change your opinion. If you like the movie, then like the movie. My opinion doesn't change anything about whether or not you did or did not enjoy the movie. And if I think there was one criticism that sort of one thing, the drum I've been beating the entire year, is don't care about other people's opinions. If you like something, like it. Why do you have to get so bent out of shape, rest of the world, when somebody doesn't like something you like?
Yeah.
It's okay if people don't like stuff you like. It's that kind of world. You could just sort of not like it, and they can like it, and that's okay. But it's like people aren't allowed to disagree anymore. We all have to be on the same opinion. When it comes to pop culture, we all have to agree in the same stupid things. No one's allowed to disagree about anything, and that's garbage. We're allowed to have different opinions. This is a year of intolerance, honestly.
Yeah,
it
really is.
Intolerance and stupid things. And, like, movie opinions and stuff. It's like, this is the dumbest things to have fights over.
But it's like, if they actually decided to have fights over something with substance, the internet might explode.
Well, it's like we have one of the more pivotal potential presidential elections coming up in a long time. Because it could be a continued shift towards left-wing policies or a shift in the other direction towards right-wing stuff. We
Yeah.
could have some moderate dude in office. We could have a populist like Hillary Clinton. We could have a ridiculous shift and change, which in my opinion would be horrible, in Donald Trump. And yet we spend all of our time angry at each other whether or not somebody likes or didn't like Star Wars, or if you criticize Justin Bieber, how dare you? You know
Justin
what I mean?
Bieber deserves to be criticized.
He deserves all of the criticism. That's not the point. It's stupid that we fight over these things. This is definitely the year of intolerance. This is a year of people just not allowing other people to have opinions at all.
And I gotta say that it only serves the people in power.
That just
For
means
us
Star Wars
to
gets
have
more
these
money.
stupid things, these stupid arguments, because we're not arguing about things that actually matter.
This is coming from a nerdy group of people who spent way too many episodes talking about Star Wars and way too many episodes talking about The Hobbit.
I mean, we're still talking about them.
Much to Chance's chagrin, but that's what we do as nerdy people. If
Yes.
you like The Hobbit, awesome. I'm super happy for you. You got more out of the movie than I did.
Exactly.
That's awesome, because I want people to like those sorts of movies, and if you liked it and you got a lot out of it, then that's fantastic. I didn't get the same feeling.
I wanted to
I like
The
it when
Hobbit
people
so
like
much.
movies they like. You know what I mean? I like you to have a positive feeling about something that you saw. I mean, that's fantastic. I
Right.
just don't agree. It's okay if people disagree, and I think if I were ever to beat that drum forever, it's okay if people disagree. And you know what? It's okay if I say that what you like is stupid. Don't
You
get
don't
bent
have
out
to
of shape
listen to
about
me.
it.
You don't have to change your opinion.
You don't have to agree. And in fact, I want you to disagree if you disagree. I want you to honestly be like, no, I disagree. And I'll be like, okay. Because that's okay.
Because it could be that there's something that we missed. Point it out to us.
Oh, yeah. Shoot, it's the world we live in. You can have a free opinion. And when we're not allowed to have free opinions anymore, when we suppress anybody that disagrees with us, is when it's game over.
It's one of those things where, you know, our country was really kind of founded on this. It's like they want disagreement. They want this kind of stuff so that that this stuff comes out into the open and doesn't get hidden, and that we have a dialogue about it. So
everything was about debate. They were supposed to have huge debates. You know how nasty the debates were between Thomas Jefferson and John Adams?
it was, yeah.
You recall what Thomas Jefferson called John Adams? It's the funniest, most horrifying thing you could think of.
No, not off the top of my head.
A troglodytic hermaphrodite. A troglodytic hermaphrodite. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's really nasty. I was like, that's funny though.
Yeah, it is. It's awesome.
That one of our most praised founding fathers was kind of a douche like that. Of course, Andrew Jackson was a scumbag, and he was, historical figure, so what can you say?
Yeah, well, the thing is like, it got to the point with some of these arguments and stuff that they hated each other forever.
Yeah, Thomas Jefferson and John Adams didn't make up until later on in life. And then they sort of set aside all their stupid arguments. And the funny thing is, they apparently died on the same day on separate parts of the country.
Right, and there was something about, like, one was told that Thomas Jefferson or the other had died. I forget what it was, but...
Oh, no, John Adams died, and Thomas Jefferson died later in the day, if I recall. And the last thing he said, I believe, before he died is, John Adams survives me, or something like that.
Right.
He didn't. He died earlier that day.
Right. That's what it was. Yeah. That's a weird one. It's like, he's like, at least there's somebody that's still
one
here.
of the founding fathers still alive. One of the guys that were sort of originally there being like, hey, why don't we, not do what the British tell us to? It's like, what? I mean, that's a brave thing to do, to decide to just throw everything out the window. But
I mean, if we're getting way political with this, but yeah.
Year of Chance. Chance got married. I don't think it was this year. It was last year.
Last year, but he had
And
a
then he has a baby,
baby this year.
which
Yeah.
he constantly horrifies everybody with perpetual pictures of.
Yeah.
Oh, look at her. It's her first smile. She shifted slightly. Here's another picture. That's what, and he knows it. I'm sure he's super aware of the fact that that's what new parents do, but he has to realize the rest of the world, and it's not that I hate his daughter, but he has to realize the rest of the world is like, yeah, I think I've seen that slightly shifted picture of your daughter before. He posted a picture of his daughter in like a superhero outfit or something like that.
Uh-huh.
It's like a onesie with a superhero logo on it.
Right.
And my response to that picture was, if next time I'm in trouble, that baby doesn't show up and save my life, then that shirt is a lie. So I'm waiting for a chance. I'm going to throw myself into traffic. But I believe we've sat on about an hour. We've casually discussed, and we've had a fun year of gaming. Slightly disappointing movie year. I think the movie year was actually overall pretty good, and I'm actually happy with the fact we're getting generally good movies, even if they're not great.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd rather have a lot of good superhero movies rather than great superhero movies. Rather than one great and everything else is terrible.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
it is. It's good to have. I mean, it sets the bar at least. It's like if your movie is not at least this good, don't even bother with it. Because we're just gonna, we're just gonna go someplace else. Because we know what a good superhero movie looks like. We have the bar. Here it is. Either meet this expectation or exceed it, but don't bother if you're not going to.
Is that? It's New Year's. Look forward to another year of complaining and lack.
We've got
of,
lots of complaints still to
viewership.
go.
Lack of viewership.
Yeah.
There was apparently a massive fire at a luxury hotel in Dubai. I wonder if it's that super building that they built.
Could be.
Mad Max was great this year. I
Yeah.
liked it.
There was a lot of hype for that, and Mad Max. That was another gratifying one.
Great
where-
movie, terrible story. But anyway, we appreciate you guys hanging out with us this year. We will be rolling back into the news again next week.
Yep.
Look forward to that, and look forward to the new year. Maybe in Jason's half of the podcast, we'll do a looking forward to of the new year rather than a wrap up.
Yeah, we'll.
Lazy that part out as well.
Yeah, there we go.
This is the beginning of the year is the start of the ret beard that's going to look terrible and probably be shaven in a few days. We'll see. It might last longer than normal. Anyway, we will see you guys next time. Say goodbye to the new year, Jason.
Well, I'll say goodbye to the old year. How's that? Goodbye,
No,
old
we're
year.
going back in time. I'm making up for my mistake and claiming it's not one, like I usually do. Goodbye 2015, and goodbye old year us. Hopefully new year us is less popular and worse at our jobs.
There you go.